What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, episode 22. A little bit different. There's a whole lot between the uploading, the room we're in right now, a little bit different. We'll just start. Nick is away for work right now, so it's gonna be your two boys here for a little bit.
The team on our backs.
Just until Nick gets back here. I think it'll be a month or two. And I figured, at least I know editing has been kind of a fun little delay with the holidays. So what we'll do, because you're probably going to be confused, I think it's going to go episode 17 and then here, episode 22. And boys, that's a big gap. Well, that way we can mix Nick in a little bit here and there. And it's going to be...
Okay.
It'll be wonky, but we'll have it all good to go. I think it'll be okay. But wonky's a good word, I think, to use. Wonky. Yeah, the wonky's the word of the day right now because we've got MLB updates, we've got NFL updates. We could talk about the NBA, but we might just save that for next week.
Linus Ullmark updates. Big rumor in the NHL right now.
Oh.
May or may not. It's not really a rumor. I just happened to see it, but he was put on leave, and apparently Reddit and a couple guys on X are trying to spread that he cheated on his wife, and then a couple of his teammates also did, and he snitched on them. He kind of pulled a D'Angelo Russell on them, and I really doubt that's true, but I just had to bring it out there because, if it was, you heard it here pretty much first.
That's
just
true.
saying.
That's a sideline report. Ballboys.
Sideline report. Linus lock in. Ottawa Senators not having a very good time right now. So.
And back to you, Peter. That we'll have to keep an eye on there.
Right,
that's some spicy news there.
I'll keep my eye on that for sure because that would be crazy if that ended up being true. I really doubt it, but you never know.
To say the least. But I guess at least in terms of where we were, I think we should just start with some MLB updates and then hit NFL.
There are a lot of signings that have happened, obviously. Really only one from the Dodgers, a major one with them getting Edwin Diaz. But it could be a lot worse, and they still could potentially throw their hat in the ring on Kyle Tucker and Bo Bichette. But so far, at least, they've toned it down a little bit. And as long as it's, relatively competitive across the board, I will not hate him as much. I will still despise him, but let's try to get other teams to spend. That's a big goal. And
and it's funny you bring up Bo Bichette because I have it written down. He's asking for $300 million, and then I reported that. It's another sideline report. But my comment I have after that is, what two teams are going to be willing to give him this amount of money?
Dodgers
and Yankees.
Dodgers are deferring it. I don't know if the Yankees are even willing to do that. Well, I guess they're having issues at shortstop, right?
A little bit. I mean, they could always just call up George Lombard Jr.
Volpe's not looked like the guy he was in this first year and a half, 2 years. He's really been struggling defensively, and he's never really had it at the plate, but he really had a rough year in the Big 2-5. So I guess the Yankees could, but if there's a team that's going to do it, it's the Dodgers because they'll just defer $200 million of it. So,
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Bo. But I think there's a lot of other dominoes that need to fall before other players. Like 100%. I saw Luis Arias still hasn't had any offers out there, and I think that's a good pickup. I mean, especially for a bat. But
the big concern with him is, he gets a lot of singles, but he doesn't walk. Guy, pitchers aren't as scared of him because he's, you're not hitting for power. You're just straight up hitting single. He's a good contact hitter. And I know a team like the Yankees, ironically, could actually use him. So or really any team that's a big strikeout, swing and miss kind of team. But I'm sure part of it is just because the limited on base percentage you're going to get because he doesn't walk a whole lot. He doesn't strike out a ton, but he's not the most patient hitter either.
That's a good point. I know just going through, we brought up Bo, we brought up Edwin there. There's a few other guys that are on the board there, but what about the White Sox of all people landing a shockingly big name?
Yeah, I was gonna say the other guy they signed jokingly. I was like, man, what and I forgot who it was.
Yeah, Munetaka Murakami. Third base slugger.
That's the main guy. I was
That is-
gonna make a joke about the other guy they
Oh,
brought in. That was
oh,
like on a
oh.
minor league deal.
Um,
I forgot who it was now. It's crap. Well, sorry, guy, that we forgot you, but you were the biggest signing in White Sox history. Totally not. I feel bad for. I always forget the third baseman they picked up. I forget his name, but that was shocking. Now the term, it makes sense for him. You know, I guess he wasn't gonna get a ginormous bag that he probably was hoping for, in large part because of his big swing and miss. He's either going to clap a dinger or he's going to strike out. And he's kind of going to a team that's willing to at least, you know, say, hey, you're still good enough. And if he could prove the 2 years that he's worth it, he'll get calls from LA, New York, Boston, and the 2020 the every season winner of the Checking In on Him award, Chicago Cubs. Let's be honest. I saw a guy earlier today that said the Yankees are the winners of that. I was like, hang on. Cubs and Red Sox are pretty notable for doing this too. So, it's kind of more of a win for other teams than it is the White Sox for contract wise. But for actually bringing in a name, huge for the White Sox. And maybe this will turn a corner that they're slowly willing to sign players in free agency. I don't know.
Which is true, although I feel like, at least for the Chicago White Sox, with the youth movement they have right now, they could be like the Oklahoma City Thunder and come out of nowhere with how their prospects are doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that makes me question it right now, especially with the White Sox getting the number 1 overall pick, is if they get, I forget what his name is off the top of my head, he's Polish, I think. But if they get Roach at number 1, he's third base or shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Colson Montgomery, you've got Chase Mydroth, you've got Miguel Vargas. Yes, it might be 2 years before Roach gets called up here, but what if it's sooner? You know, what happens to the lineup? Where do you ship these younger guys? Are you really going to start moving your younger talent for this? But to your point, hopefully if Moon can do what they think he can do, they don't have to worry about that for a year.
Yeah, he just might be just a plug-in guy while you let him develop, but we'll never know. I mean, we've seen guys come up pretty much almost immediately, like Jock on the Royals. I mean, of course, his first full year is hoped to be, but when he was in the minors, he was raking. So we'll see what happens with if they even decide to go that route. I don't know. They may. I don't really know the draft at this point. I usually learn about it 2 weeks before it happens. So whoever's the top guy, then maybe they go pitching again, or maybe try to target an outfielder to eventually move on from.
I don't know, man. I mean,
Robert.
The way that I'm seeing, because I agree, they could possibly go pitching, but Roach, if I'm saying his name correctly, is like the number 1 touted prospect this year.
Just
Like
number 1 consensus.
you have to take the best pick on the board.
Could trade down. I don't. Well, actually, I don't think you can trade. I forgot. I take that back. Sort of goofy, but I also sort of understand. There's like 30 rounds in the MLB draft, so I guess that's probably somewhat understandable. So
absolutely. Yeah, no, I can't wait as this gets closer how it'll play out and things like that. But of course, the MLB draft is in the first half of the season?
It's in June. It's always in June. Yeah, very, very weird time to do a draft. You know, you have a whole off season. I don't know, but maybe it has something to do with the minor leagues. I don't know. I'd have to look that up, to be honest. That's
fair enough. But I mean, it's like you said, bottom line, good signing for the White Sox. We're talking about youth and prospects. And if we're going to go a little bit north in the city here, Chicago Cubs, obviously, I'm rocking it because I know we're going to talk about it for a good bit here, have traded their number 1 prospect, Owen Casey, for Edward Cabrera, the pitcher in Miami. I'm mixed on it. I think it's a positive deal, but to give up what we gave up for him, I think we could have gotten him for cheaper.
Certainly.
It almost makes me feel like when I saw the package that the Cubs gave up, I think they tried to phone in for Alcantara, and they were like, what about Cabrera? And we were like, done, lock it in. But, I mean, no matter what, and it's funny, I think there's, 6 starting pitchers now between Cabrera, Justin Steele, Cade Horton, Imanaga. Jamison Tyone, Javier Assad.
Are they counting Ben Brown at this point?
Brown's in there.
Albeit I know he was not very popular.
Oh, Matthew Boyd. So we have a sleuth of pitching right now.
Well, this is what I was concerned about. You trade up your best prospect. You still have a lot of questions about Kyle Tucker coming back. Obviously, you could go back to Cody Bellinger. So clearly they have to have some contingency plan here. But like, granted, what this rotation needed was a strikeout guy. I did think about it and, read some comments. I was like, okay, you know what? Boyd's not getting a ton of strikeout. This rotation needs a guy like him in here. So it was a need, albeit you probably could have sent over a pitcher in return, to be honest. Ben Brown, for all I care. I mean, the rotation's stacked, in my opinion. I think it's one of the better ones in baseball if it stays healthy. Clearly, just listed 8 guys that are serviceable here, but it's just a worrying move to give up Casey without knowing, is Tucker going to come back? Now, of course, front office knows more than what we do, right? We won't find out until Jeff Passan or any other analyst breaks the news, but I think right now, kind of sketchy. You probably could have gotten him for less, but it's still a good pickup for what the rotation needs. So
for sure, yeah, no. Bottom line, I mean, there was multiple things that went through my brain when I saw this trade pop up, and number one is I feel like the Cubs are building one of the best platoon rotations. Yeah. And I say that because at no point, even if there's only 5, a lot of people are saying we're going to the 6-man rotation, which we had talked about earlier this year. Well, I guess last year, technically.
To be honest, it would benefit Boyd significantly. Obviously, it would help Steele for 26. He's not going to come back
at least till mid-June.
At least till June. It would benefit a lot. You got Cabrera. I mean, another big concern with him. He's had Tommy John. He's had a lot of health issues too. I mean,
and that's my point.
Now I've jumped up to 3 guys that, I mean, Boyd's not as injury prone now, but you saw at the end of last year,
the fatigue.
He needs a pitching limit for sure to maximize his talents for sure. So,
and that's the thing. I mean, we might go a few long relievers deep with some of these starting pitchers, but I also think no matter what, and that's the point I was getting to, was I don't think even if we had our top 5 best pitchers on our 1 through 5, they are not going to be healthy at the same time. They're just.
This is true.
I don't see it as a Cubs fan. The fans out there may think differently than me, but I just
someone's gonna get hurt. It's bound to happen. Now, of course, you could say that about pretty much any rotation. It's really hard to keep it. I mean, even the Dodgers struggle to keep their pitchers healthy.
Yeah.
So if they're struggling, like no matter what you do, you're gonna have a guy or two because of how hard they're throwing now. They're throwing freaking 97, 98 mile an hour sliders, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, those are like barely touching like 84, 85. So yeah, of course you're going to deal with a lot more injuries, but it is still concerning that you have a lot of guys that either get tired very easily coming off injuries or have a pretty lengthy injury history for certain. So council may want to consider less quality starts, get through 5, rely more on your bullpen this year. Don't drain them out, but you also need you got to find a way to balance the use of your bullpen and your rotation. Starting with the 6-man, you really should do that. So.
For sure. Yeah. The other thing that made me think of was when the Vikings last offseason, just our offensive line after signing the 2 Will Freeze and Ryan Kelly. All of a sudden, we come into the season with the number 2 PFF ranked offensive line, and they play maybe 1 game together, maybe. So it's either going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to work out perfectly, or everyone's going to get hurt. One of 2. It's one of 2. But at least Marlins, you got a good prospect coming here, someone who's probably going to start in right field for you. Probably opening day, if not.
They got a nasty outfield now because they have Jacob, his last name's an M. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on him. But I had him in fantasy for a while, and he was a beast, Marcy or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to build a pretty nasty outfield there. So yeah, it was a good pickup for Miami for sure.
For sure, no doubt. And I think the only other thing I had down, I know there's a lot of MLB updates we can get into, but the one, and you could say it's wonky, you could say it's shocking, but also not shocking. Did you see, by the way, that the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office
denied I love
Las
it.
Vegas?
Screw the Athletics.
Yeah.
Not the players themselves. I feel for them. Screw the owners. My friend was mad that the patents turned him down. I was like, why? This ownership screwed over the entire city. They absolutely 100% deserve to be rejected over this. Screw you.
Do you want to know the best part about this? When I read into the article, there's the quote that I pulled was, the team was told by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office that the nickname Athletics was too generic and could be confused for other activities in Las Vegas. What other activities?
That's putting it all on red. That's for certain.
That's athletic.
Yeah, that's very athletic. Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, I mean, they're probably just going to have to pay whoever got that trademark before them a boatload of money.
The Vegas Golden Knights had a similar situation
Absolutely.
where this happened, and that's what they did. So
yeah,
and I'm sure that's what the Cleveland Guardians did too, because I know they had their whole little deal with the stupid roller derby team, trying to sue them over because they had their name trademarked. So yeah, I'm sure it's not going to be a problem. I just think it's a funny little. It's just a hurdle they have to jump over for screwing over their fans. So.
One of the many. And, to your point, it's kind of well-deserved.
100, not kind of, it just is. I mean, you're now spending, let's get into what really quickly. They just extended a guy to their biggest extension in franchise history, I believe, Tyler Soderstrom.
Yeah.
7 years, $86 million. Well-deserved. The outfielder, but... I mean, the what?
The right winger. Because that's a hockey name.
I was
that's
like,
for sure a hockey name.
I definitely heard it. I was just like, let me lock in for a second. And I was like, no. But yeah, I mean, they're just conveniently doing, like, you signed Severino last offseason. You extend this guy. I think they might have already extended Kurtz too, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. It might have been him, Wilson, or they maybe even Lawrence Butler. I thought they extended somebody else, but they're conveniently spending money the second they left their, albeit dump of a stadium.
The second they get money.
Very, very convenient. So, Athletics fans, I feel for you.
Well, that's what I said last year after they signed Luis Severino, Jeffrey Springs. I mean, they brought in they
brought in a decent haul, which they could have been doing this whole time, and they just decided not to because their foot, not one foot, both feet were out the door for probably a solid 7 or 8 years. Easily. So.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I had for baseball updates, just for the quick little synopsis of the stuff that I thought was interesting. If you've got anything else, we could always start talking, throwing the pigskin around.
No, I think I'm good. I mean, there are a couple other signings, but nothing of note that's worth talking about right now. So.
Fair. Well, yeah, I mean... Yeah, NFL time. I mean, I really want to get to the coaches and everything else, and then obviously playoffs are coming up here. But there was some news that's a little bit more, I don't want to say pressing, but I think that you will have more of a personal opinion on. And for me, anyway, when I think of players, I mean, you could talk about, week 1 through 18. You could talk about basketball, baseball, players who are made for the moment and players who aren't. And sometimes you see this, and I'm not talking about Reggie Miller. I am talking about Stephon Diggs. And he is currently facing strangulation and assault charges.
Allegedly,
you are correct. He has declined to comment on any of these. He did not wish to speak about them. And Stephon, we're talking about this because I want to be on your side. You're my boy, Minneapolis Miracle. I'm not saying I understand, but I hope for your sake, this is dumbfounded because this happens a lot that people are like, it's time.
I think there's a reason why when he was in Minnesota, all of his teammates said, who's the last guy you want dating your sister?
Davin, what guy on this team would you least like to date your sister?
What the hell? Diggs.
Oh, Stephon Diggs.
Least I to date my sister, Diggs. 100%.
And I might add, you're starting to be the runaway favorite for this.
Well, nobody want me to date this, is it? I'm a great guy.
I'm actually a great guy.
That video lives in my head rent free.
It does too. It's a great clip, and it's certainly not that. That is aging like really
Like fine
poorly
wine. Like fine wine.
for Diggs, aging like wine in general though. So. Yeah, it's not a great locker room right now because it's not the only allegation that the team has right now, because Christian Barmore has gotten himself in some heat for something. He didn't choke anybody, but it was an assault allegation. I am more inclined to believe right now that the Barmore thing is just hearsay. I think that's just nonsense. But the Diggs situation, the good news for us, the contract, we set it up. If year one didn't go well, team option, we dip out. And I think, I mean, I don't know when we have to decide that, granted, but sounds like we could probably just get out of it. You know, don't have to pay him the next 2 years and we'll be okay. But as of right now, it does not matter for the postseason. So it's just business as usual. For the next,
good. At least at that point.
Hopefully next couple games, but it'll be business as usual at least for Sunday.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and I think this is Stefan's first well, I shouldn't say any because I don't. There could be things under wraps that I don't know about. But Rashee Rice is also being accused by his.
This is the one
again.
I'm just like, he 100% did it because he has
guilty. Next question.
Because he has something else that went with. That he was proven that he did, which was what happened last offseason. And it's just like, it's just a shame. I texted someone earlier today. He's pretty much this generation's, I mean, there's probably a better comparison, but the first guy that came to my mind was Justin Blackmon. He was actually a fantastic player for like the 1 or 2 years he played in Jacksonville. He was a receiver, came out of Oklahoma State, but he had a lot of problems that ultimately got him kicked out of the league by, I think, year 3. And Rashee Rice is kind of going down a similar path. We saw what he did these last, 12 games when he came off suspension. He balled out.
Huge. He was huge.
He was massive for the Chiefs. He was really pretty much the only offensive weapon for Mahomes that was trying to keep things glued together for whatever they're trying to grasp at. And he's thrown his life away. Now it is, again, alleged. We have to, innocent until proven guilty, but his history, especially with driving, it's not looking good.
He's just too fast for it. It won't catch up to him.
Oh man.
But yeah, and we'll obviously keep our ear to the grindstone on that one too. But I kind of want to keep it in the family here and just go to the brother to brother here. We talked about Stefan. What about Trayvon? In the whole Dallas situation.
Yeah, that day for the Diggs family was not good, was it?
No, it certainly wasn't.
It was a bad day for the Diggs. It was a George Kittle Tuesday, as I called it.
Ooh.
And thank you, George, for beating Nick by half a point. You changed my life forever, and I've called it George Kittle Tuesdays ever since. But that was a bad George Kittle Tuesday for the Diggs family.
Yeah. So if you don't know what we're talking about here, Trayvon Diggs, the corner safety out of Dallas here, was released by the Cowboys about a week ago now. And there's a lot of speculation as to why, because he arguably at the time and at his peak was one of the best safeties in the league. There's a report coming out that after the Christmas Day game in Washington, Trayvon wanted to stay behind and spend Christmas with his family as he was there. And he's like, why do I have to fly back to Dallas and fly back if I can just stay here, utilize that time? Dallas, according to him, said, no, you're getting on the plane with us and you're coming back to the facility with us.
Wow.
They had a dispute about it, and that was one of the reasons they decided
Jerry
to let him
Jones
go.
is an idiot.
However, because I thought about that too, I was like, really? That's it? What a
Okay,
dumb
there's got to be more to this.
However, you're probably right. There was probably words exchanged that I don't know about. But for these players who are paid millions of dollars, and I mean, now I'm sure he makes probably at least 80. That's probably a rough stretch. Maybe 40 to 80 times more than I make normally. If I already have to work holidays for my job, hey bud, I think you could sacrifice at least 8 hours of airfare.
I get it though. I mean, you have to understand these guys are gone a good
for
chunk
sure.
of the time, and they really don't see their family all that much, especially at the start of the year. I do and I see, to his point, it's kind of idiotic. he's
Oh, absolutely.
flying away to fly back. It is kind of it's kind of goofy that you couldn't have, waived an exception because, especially on top of the fact your season's over. If you're not making the playoffs, right? I mean, if it was, you were still in a contention for a wild card spot or something, no matter how improbable it was, I would be like, nah, no, you got to ride with us. But season's done, man. I mean, just let bro be bro, but same time, Diggs, you do make a good bag, and don't need to make a mountain out of a molehill per se, but it's an interesting situation. But I still think Dallas if that's the whole reason he got cut, Dallas is stupid. You really just gave one of your rivals 2 of your defensive players.
Yeah, and speaking of,
idiotic.
The grass, at least for Trayvon right now, is greener.
It 100% is. He was a genius for staying home. Good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Going from a team that was eliminated from the playoffs to a divisional game on Saturday, which I think he's going to try to be playing in. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll definitely talk about that when we get to our pick'em here. So hopefully it'll be a okay situation for him. Hopefully it works out and they kind of help that defense a little bit. Although I don't think the defense is what I'm worried about for that game. But that's a conversation for about 15 minutes from now.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the Diggs brothers. We got a little rice cooking. So the coach is fired thus far. We're into the wild card weekend here, and we'll just start not from beginning or any particular order, but Raheem Morris, head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns head coach, Pete Carroll, Vegas Raiders head coach, Jonathan Gallen, the Cardinals head coach, John Harbaugh, the Ravens head coach, and the one we all knew, Mike
McDaniel. He survived Black Monday, technically. It was shocking that he was not fired on Black Monday, but he was. And I'm wondering if it's because there's a lot of rumors speculating about John Harbaugh going to Miami, and they were kind of waiting that out. And I'm wondering if, once they heard the news about that, they were starting to settle the papers and say, get out of here.
Well, I think John Harbaugh can go mainly anywhere.
No, he absolutely can. But I know the biggest rumor I have seen is Harbaugh. Lamar's fed up. He'll go home to Florida and go play for Harbaugh in Miami. That's the biggest speculations that I've seen. And so I'm trying to process why it took so long to fire McDaniel. Maybe it's because they really like Harbaugh. I don't know. Of course, I feel like any team that doesn't have a coach right now probably does. Albeit, if you have a really good running back, stay away. Because he won't use them when it matters on multiple occasions.
I mean, he could very well go to Atlanta. And I mean, I know that's kind of the exact opposite of what you want to happen with that statement.
Well, I'm not saying whether or not I want that to happen. I'm just saying take that into consideration as an owner / GM, or like at least really emphasis in the interview. It's like, hey, we have Bijan Robinson, game's on the line. Who should be in the backfield? If if he hesitates or doesn't say Bijan Robinson, then he's probably not your guy. But I mean, I think it's a pretty that's a pretty juicy opportunity for Harbaugh in Atlanta for sure.
Yeah. I think of all of these fires, the one that kind of shocks me the most is Kevin Stefanski. I could say Pete Carroll, but after hearing what happened and all the reports that are coming out of Vegas, it happened.
He's old. It's past him.
Poor Kevin. I don't think any of that has been his fault. It's just the organization just doesn't give him the quarterback they need. We saw it when Baker Mayfield was there. They were doing just fine. So some team is going to get, if he doesn't go for another head coaching job, a heck of an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine. He did what he could. He took Joe Flacco to the playoffs, and no, he didn't win that game, did he? No, they got curb stomped. But he did take the Browns to the playoffs a couple years ago. So he's, of all the guys on that list, I mean, Harbaugh obviously has a Super Bowl, so I can't say he's better than Harbaugh, but he's certainly a lot more marketable than the rest of the guys that got canned on Monday. So he's going to have a job. He's going to get it quick. He knows ball. So
yeah. I personally would like to see Kevin come back to Minnesota and be our offensive coordinator and get Wes Phillips out the door.
Wes Phillips is still coaching?
I'm sorry.
Is there a
I'm
brother?
sorry. If it's not, no, it's not. It's his son, which I think is named Wes. I don't know.
Okay. I was like, isn't that dude like 80?
Yeah.
Like,
He
no.
is.
I
It's
mean,
his son.
Pete
It's his
Carroll's
son.
74.
You got me rethinking the names I've been spewing the last
Yeah.
few weeks. But yeah. So yeah, if Phillips could go, hey, I'd be cool with it. There was one other. I mean, there's other coordinators that were fired. One in particular, and we got to give Nick our little shout out here. Matt Eberflus was fired again. The defensive coordinator out the door in Dallas.
I saw a rumor.
Nick's laughing. Whenever this releases, he's laughing behind the camera.
He won't be laughing when I saw a Bears Facebook page threw out the idea that they should bring him back
There's be no
as a
point to it.
defensive coordinator.
Well, then what happens to Dennis Allen? Does Dennis Allen get another head coaching opportunity? I don't think so.
I guarantee you that was only for likes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was only for likes. But the fact that it was even mentioned, I can just hear Nick just making Nick noises. I don't know what he does, but he wouldn't have been happy hearing that I saw that on Facebook. So
Yeah. So Eberflus is out the door. Another coordinator that made me kind of raise an eyebrow. The Washington Commanders and Kliff Kingsbury have mutually parted ways.
I did not see this one.
Yes. So they both agreed to separate and go their own way. Wow. So
isn't this year 2? Wasn't that year 2?
It's year 2 for him. So there are a lot of fans who are blaming Kliff for the offensive struggles in Washington.
Jaden Daniels was dead like 80% of the year.
Yes, and I think aside from that, 'cause it was just an injury-riddled season between Terry McLaurin, a little bit of Deebo Samuel. Getting rid of Ryan Robinson Jr., I think, really hindered
that was a dumb move in hindsight.
Oh, ridiculously dumb
that was
move.
bad.
It kind of worked out the first few weeks with how good Eckler was playing, but then yet again he also went down.
I thought Eckler was out the whole year.
No, he played the first week or two, because then Krosky Merritt came in,
Yeah,
and then it was Nichols, and then there's one other guy, Rodriguez. Yeah. So I guess the biggest question is which one of these coaches is going to have another head coaching job next year? And obviously Harbaugh is the easy one, but I think the only other one I could think of is maybe Stefanski,
Stefanski and Kingsbury will get another job.
My thing, everyone is talking about Baltimore getting a defensive coach. It's what Baltimore's known for. I think if they're smart, they throw the bag at Kliff Kingsbury. But with having Lamar, you could talk about wide receivers, but King
I like
Henry,
that take.
I mean, at that point, focus on your offense.
Because he would
up.
actually have a quarterback, and he doesn't have to sit at the kiddie table and doesn't have to worry about him playing Madden or whatever in November. So, just saying.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Jaden Daniels, I'm sure it will be hopefully fine coming back into next season.
Yeah,
but those injuries,
I feel like that's a very look, it was a long season. You had such high expectations because of how your season went last year. But you got to chalk it up to injuries, man. Jaden played well when he played for the most part. He had moments where he looked really poor, but for the most part, the numbers showed he played fine. He got hurt like 5 separate times. What's Kliff supposed to do? So I don't know. Maybe Kliff's just not loving the game anymore. He's not doing it for the love.
Unless they just think he's a college coach. But I mean,
he clearly did a phenomenal job year 1. I just don't know what else to say. But
yeah. There is, however, one more sideline report that I'm hearing.
Josh McDaniels might be getting another head coaching job.
Are you excited about that?
No.
I was like, wait a minute, what?
No, I love Josh. I don't even think it's been a rumor or anything like that. But I just saw like one random post. And I was just like, I thought that's where you were going with.
No, that's not. And I need to triple, quadruple check this and confirm this is a real rumor. But the Baltimore Ravens have sent a request to interview defensive coordinator Brian Flores.
Oh, Flores.
And I'm not happy about that.
I check it. I'm fairly certain they've also requested to interview Nagy.
Oh.
That's where I thought you were going with. I swear I saw that. Yeah, it's gonna be Flores, dude.
I really hope
I
it's
hate
not.
to tell you.
I really do hope it's Kingsbury. I think that's the best available option for them. I think you have to go with a change of almost not scenery, but you have to go with a change here. I mean, they've been defensive so long. Give the offensive shot.
I feel like between the two, Flores both kind of have a complicated history as a head coach. We'll put it that way. Flores, to me, showed more promise in the limited time he had at Miami than Kingsbury did in Arizona. That being said, do have to take into consideration how the organization's set up. Baltimore's definitely not set up to be a defensive-focused team right now. They are definitely focused to run and run and run. And Kliff would help out with that. Who knows? We'll see what they decide to do. I don't know if they decide to interview Kingsbury yet or not.
So I'm pulling up an article, if it loads, from BaltimoreRavens.com. And this is highlighting the 5 best available options for 2026 here. If it loads, here we go. Yeah. Come on. Slowly but surely. So they're thinking Joe Brady from the Buffalo Bills, the offensive coordinator.
Really? A lot of Bills fans want him fired. That's...
So they're thinking,
Bills fans are
Brian
kinda dumb.
Flores is on the list here. Vance Joseph, of all people, for the Denver Broncos.
Why? Do they not know how that turned out last time?
Someone did report Kliff Kingsbury, so
Okay,
that
alright.
makes me feel a little bit better in my hot take there. There's a stupid cookie thing that popped up. Give me a second.
That's a good hot take. I like
Clint Kubiak for the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. Don't think that's a good idea.
Why not?
Jesse Minter, the Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator, which that might be the best with how well they've been playing. Raheem Morris is on the board. Yeah, Matt Nagy, offensive coordinator. Robert Saleh. Chris
Salah would be
Shula.
interesting. Salah should get a job at some point. He got screwed by the Jets.
I think this might just be going through every available head coach.
I was about to say, I was like, sounds like
But-
every last, but no Josh McDaniels. He did technically say he was not going to move again. So, of course,
And that's what Brian Flores is saying. He's saying his family loves Minnesota, and there's no point. There's also the rumors that I heard that there were 0 head coaching requests for him. So I hope it's the latter there. I want nothing but the best for Brian, to be fair. Just as a selfish Minnesota Vikings fan, it's worked best when he's been there.
Look, I've had
And
him
I get
too. He's great. he knows what he's doing. Especially defensively. He was a good head coach when he got to coach, as we all saw. Obviously, kind of got screwed in the end, but hope he stays in Minnesota for your sake. But I would not blame if he had an opportunity. He may snag it, but who knows? I mean, with how poorly it went with Miami, just kind of how all that crap went down, maybe he just doesn't want to deal with the politics of all that.
And I personally don't see him taking a head coaching spot until the court has ruled everything out and there's a
at
settlement.
least is getting that settled up. Yeah, I can see that.
So we'll see. That might be another year or two, maybe.
That's bonkers. It's been
But-
going on for 2 years now.
At least.
That's crazy.
But hey, we have playoff football back, and I think it's time we just roll through. I shouldn't say roll. We might talk a little bit, but
Okay.
wild card weekend. Saturday has 2 games. Sunday has 2 games.
And Monday has
Monday
a game.
has a game. Correct.
I hate Monday night football for
Playoffs.
playoffs.
Yeah.
It's moronic.
Trust me, last year I was miserable because not only did Minnesota have to play that Monday night game, we also had to change locations because of the wildfires in LA.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
Another reason to hate LA football. Just saying.
Speaking of LA football, they're
Yeah.
the first game on the board here, 3:30
That
Saturday.
being said, now I do understand they did lose to Carolina in the last matchup. I don't think lightning strikes twice here.
Really?
I mean, I don't, I just, there's a lot. The Rams are going to want to come in. Obviously, there's a lot of rumors of Stafford winning MVP. It's going to be close, but I think they'll be motivated for that. Carolina just kind of limped in. They lost to Tampa Bay, had to get some help from Atlanta to get here. We'll see. The thing is, Carolina could show up and dominate. this team has been kind of confusing. I mean, they've lost to the Patriots 42-13, and then they beat the Rams, but then they lost like 3 of their next 4. So it's just like they're a weird team. But I just don't see, especially they don't have as good of a run game as LA does. And they're not as good as stat padding touchdowns as Matthew Padford is. So I'm looking at you, Rams fans. In all seriousness, I do like Stafford, but I don't like your fans on X in particular. So, but I'm going Rams.
I'm going to take the Panthers here. I'm all aboard that speculation that when the Panthers make the playoffs and everything else that's happened with the the video you had brought up, the Panthers might be the Super Bowl underdog here. Seriously, if they win this week, what's stopping it? We'd have to go into the playoff bracket here.
There are a couple teams that I think certainly could. But
bottom line, I would be taking the Panthers at plus 10.5 because that's a ridiculously large spread.
That is a large spread
With how well they've been playing.
Especially what happened last time.
Absolutely. Between that, but also how the Rams played in Atlanta. I mean, just thinking of that.
That's true. This is true. Both teams are kind of hit or miss overall, but the Rams obviously being a lot more.
Well, I guess that begs the question: if the Panthers win this game, does Matthew Stafford win the MVP? And if not,
I don't think. Well, clearly it's Stafford or May. It's not really close at this point. But MVP is a regular season award, so I don't think that'll affect that.
Hot take on my end: I think if Matthew Stafford, not he'd be the cause of this, but if the Rams lose this game, I think the caveat that comes out of the NFC for MVP would be Sam Darnold. I mean,
too many turnovers. No,
really.
He leads the league in turnovers.
Fair, yeah. Well, all right. I'll redact my statement.
There's just not really a great MVP candidate out of the NFC at this point. I'm telling you, if this somehow affected it, if they lost and that somehow affected it, it's Mays to take. It doesn't really matter if he loses or beats the Chargers at this point, in my opinion. Unless if it's an uglier loss than the Rams won. But Patriots are playing, in my opinion, they're playing a better team on record and probably a better coach. I would say Jim Harbaugh is definitely a better coach. We'll see. But in theory, it is a regular season award, and I don't believe usually in the past, the postseason loss or win has affected that. I could be wrong. And this is also just a unique MVP situation we're in. It's usually two or three guys the same age going up against each other. We got a young up and coming kid versus a guy that's got his last couple years in him before he retires. It's
if not this being the end of the line.
There's talks that he might not played out the year because of his back. So. It's a very unique circumstance, to say the least. So
absolutely. So we'll move to the 7:00 game Saturday night. Packers at Bears.
This is a tough pick. Green Bay has limped into the playoffs here, but technically so have the Bears. Bears have lost their last 2. Green Bay has lost 4 in a row. It's of course I think albeit Green Bay kind of. They threw in Clayton Tune to end the year there. So you can really kind of put an asterisk on the last game, but still lost 3 in a row.
Is Jordan Love playing?
I think so.
Okay.
I thought so.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, they gave him the time to recover here.
I saw a meme that said breaking news, Malik Willis is injured, and so backup Jordan Love has to play on Sunday. That was pretty funny.
I said it earlier this year, and I know Nick didn't like me saying it, but I said, obviously, with the way the Bears were playing, if they make it to the playoffs, which obviously they did, the one team they did not want to run into at any point in the playoffs was the Packers. Now, this game to me is going to come down for coaching. We saw it when they played last time and how they misused Josh Jacobs, in my opinion.
That's not an opinion. That's facts.
That's fair. Obviously, Malik Willis came in and it changed the narrative.
That was horrendous.
But just bottom line, the Packers lost that game, and that was in Chicago, I believe. I think the Packers take this. I think the 1.5 favorite is a very reasonable line. It's going to be a good game to watch no matter what, but I think the Packers get it done.
Is Jacobs healthy? Is he like 100% now?
I have to confirm that. But if not, I mean, Emmanuel Wilson did just fine against the Bears too that week.
He did.
So I think bottom line, I'm still taking the Packers, albeit I don't know if you saw this, but there's some guy on
hard pick,
social media who made a song called Jordan Love, and I almost want them to lose because of it. It's really bad.
This is our year. This is our team.
Kind
Sorry,
of.
I
No,
know
it's kind of
not,
yeah, but no. We can't. That's a good one.
That was a good one.
That is a good one.
Man, I kind of want a homer for Nick's sake, but at the end, it's the Bears. But all right, I'm gonna put it this way: Nick can't throw a fit about conditionals here because we're on the same agreement about conditionals. If it comes down to a game-winning kick, Green Bay wins.
Oh yeah.
But if the Bears need a game-winning drive, it'll go down to the Bears. So if the Bears are losing, have the ball, and they don't need to kick it, they win. Now, I do still technically have to pick a team outright. I will go Green Bay, but I'm really scared that Jacobs, they might misuse Jacobs, or he might not be 100%. And I like Wilson. I just don't see him being a game changer here in this one. But ultimately, it's just at some point for Chicago, it's going to come back to bite you that you don't play a full 60 minutes. It may happen that you pull it off yet again. You're going to run into a team where you're in the fourth quarter and you're down 3 scores. You're not going to pull it off. The fourth quarter magic's going to burn out, and I think it'll happen Saturday night. But we'll see. If it comes down to game-winning drive and the Bears don't need to kick it, I think they do win, but I don't think it'll come to that.
Fair. Well, we know who Adam's taken. We're going to move into Sunday, which I believe the first game is Buffalo and Jacksonville.
I'm going Buffalo.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I love Jacksonville's red hot, and I would not be surprised if they won this. Buffalo, there's no team that has more pressure to get to the Super Bowl
than Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Baltimore's out. Patrick Mahomes is out. And I'm standing on this. If Buffalo doesn't make it, I don't think they do it with Josh Allen. Oh. There is no excuses for them to not make the Super Bowl.
Do you think that if they don't make it this year, and I'm not saying that it's a spot to be looking at, but does Sean McDermott get fired?
It needs to be a conversation. It certainly does. I mean, it's not on Josh Allen. I will say, the couple playoff losses he's had, the 13 seconds game, he couldn't have executed that drive any better, and just defense just outright sold him. And, I think Bills fans do, they've claimed that Allen doesn't have any help, which is kind of crazy because their O-line's ranked towards the top in the NFL, and James Cook is a beast, but wide receiver core is weak. And it did sell him last year. I'll give him this. Josh Allen, if you give him the cast, I think they will do it. Because he's clearly made play after play, and they're just selling him out.
Yeah.
I will give him that. Josh has the tools to do it. Does the rest of the team do? And I just don't know.
I'd agree with that. I'd absolutely agree with that.
So if they don't do it this year, you need a philosophical change. You got to find a way to build better around Josh Allen if you're going to do it. He can do it. Can you? And I don't think I think you just can't take the Buffalo out of Buffalo, So I think if they lost Sunday, I would can't. With other guys out there, I would can McDermott. I would strongly consider it. But at the same time, Jacksonville's red hot. Trevor Lawrence has played like he elevated himself to third in MVP voting.
Yeah.
Which is wild to consider. Like, his first half stats weren't great, but he was dominant in the second half. So. Duval, baby.
Yeah, that's going to be a very fun game to watch. I love it's at the noon slate there, because that's going to have me in front of the TV.
Same.
3:30, we've got 49ers and Eagles.
49ers. Oh, gosh, I'm going all road here, aren't I? I don't think that's going to happen, but... Look, I'm scared to take 49ers in the sense that, I was feeling great about picking them until that Seattle game. That Seattle game looked horrible, but Philadelphia's just not looked good. Really, really nobody in the NFC looks super promising to me besides a couple. I'm very high on San Francisco though.
I'm high on CMC in specific.
I'm high on George Kittle Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And I love George Kittle paired with Brock Purdy. I was very anti Mac Jones. That was I hated that era of George Kittle and Mac Jones. But
from a fantasy perspective.
100%. That was a frustrating time.
Yeah.
I'll do another conditional.
Oh no.
I'll say if San Fran has 2 turnovers, they lose. If they have less than 2, they win.
Okay.
I think they gotta not turn the ball over because I think Philadelphia will. I think they need to win the turnover battle. You have the run game. George Kittle's a beast. I think he'll show up.
I'm not going to keep track of that conditional. But
I'll go San Fran outright.
Fair.
I'll go
fair.
San Fran outright.
And then we move to Sunday night where we have the Chargers in
Who
New
did
England.
you pick?
49ers.
You went 49ers.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh, I hate the fact that I just set this up where the Patriots are the only home team I take.
You got to do what you got to do.
I really hate that I just did that. I hate it so much, but
We know where your heart lies, and if you need me to elaborate on this, because as much as I
I
want to say,
want to hear your logic for this game and who you're going. You're not going to hurt my feelings no matter what. It's been a phenomenal season no matter what for us.
as much as I want to say that the Chargers are going to come in and play a good defensive game, for me, this is New England's game to win.
Okay.
There's more of a conversation that if the Chargers, and I know it's on the road, but if the Chargers lose this game, does the blame fall more on Harbaugh or does it fall more on Herbert? Because they were also a first-round exit last year, were they not?
Into the first round blowout.
Yes. So that's where my opinion kind of is, and that might change the narrative for me on Justin Herbert. I mean, I'm not saying the Patriots team is beatable, but this is absolutely doable, and the way that the Chargers have kind of closed out the season for me has shown some question marks. And I think Harbaugh has come in and done a fantastic job in his first, essentially 2 full years now. So it's definitely going to be a coaching chess match here. But I mean, I don't know. If Herbert can't lead it,
coach matchup. It's a great coach matchup. I'll go New England only because I think our run game will be stronger. The Chargers' own line is beat up. The one caveat is they're facing a pass rush that's, despite the fact it had led the league in the NFL in sacks the first 4 weeks, ended up in bottom 10 overall in win rates and sacks and all that. Not great, but I still trust the guys that they could beat. A couple of those guys, part of it was we were missing, a couple of our interior guys. Milton Williams is out for a little bit. Harold Landry was out for a while, but I think our run game's going to keep us in this right now. I've slandered Ramondre, and he shut me up big time, especially last week. I think that duo of Henderson and Ramondre is going to be really tough for San Diego to stop. Granted, I don't know where they rank in the run game defensively, but if I'm taking a running back right now between the two to control the game, I think you got to be able to control time of possession for this matchup in particular. I would take Ramondre and Trayvon over Hampton, but Hampton was nice the last couple of weeks there. So we'll see. I think this is going to be another fun one.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And I would not be disappointed if the Chargers win. I wouldn't be shocked. If it came down to head coaches, Harbaugh's going to win this. Vrabel's a great coach, but Harbaugh's a Hall of Fame coach, as on track right now, with some asterisks. But Vrabel will get there, but Harbaugh's I would say is better. At least if it came down to that specifically.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
No.
And then the last one to watch, we've got Texans and Steelers.
Gosh, I want to go Steelers so bad.
I'm taking Houston -3 here.
I
would take Houston -10. We might watch Aaron Rodgers die on live TV here. I mean, that Texans defense has been ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Something is just telling me. I texted somebody. This is gonna be my LeBron story, okay? I could show the receipts at least. No, I can't. I didn't text somebody. I said it to somebody. So this is my LeBron story, guys. You don't have to believe this, but I was talking to my buddy. I was like, I think a quarter through that Baltimore game, it's like, Aaron Rodgers is gonna pull something out of his butt, isn't he? They're just gonna he's gonna find a way to steal this last minute and win it. And technically, he did, but at the same time, Baltimore did lose that because of the kick. But something's just screaming at me. It's just like the good Aaron Rodgers is gonna show up, but I gotta go Houston. That defense is too disgusting. The defense is too good to just lose round one, in my opinion. CJ, the one thing that scares me is if CJ turns it over a couple times.
That's a big one.
It's gonna make things interesting, but the Steelers' defense overall isn't phenomenal outside of TJ.
This is gonna be a big field goal game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think Houston wins this, so I only have one home game winning. Oh gosh. Oh, I don't think that's happening, Jim.
I don't know, Jim.
I don't know.
But you got it in the books. We're gonna go ahead. We're
it.
gonna put it on the board, and we're gonna have some good content coming up here in the next few weeks between playoff football, some other things we're gonna leave under the radar, some card openings, and this new format we're doing with recording here. So it should be a lot faster getting to you. But I think that is a wrap. So
I want one last
floor is yours.
report. I DM'd this to you. Hey, this could be like a minute thing we talk about. So the Blues.
Oh yeah.
This was. I wish Nick was here so bad. Last night, if anybody was, you don't really watch hockey. Blues and Blackhawks, two bitter rivals, played each other last night. Hawks spanked them 7-3. But after the Hawks scored their 7th goal. Montgomery, the head coach, Jim Montgomery, the head coach of the Blues, waved to bring friggin' Jordan Bennington off, but the backup goalie is nowhere to be found. Where was he? Where was he?
Oh, this is great. Where was he?
Oh, you don't know this?
I didn't look at it. You did. I didn't look at it.
Oh, he was hiding behind. So you walk out of the bench. He was hiding. Behind the wall or something, and then he just peeps his eyes out as they're screaming for him. It is the funniest thing, and I've seen so many crazy theories, like Bennington did this to undermine Montgomery, so the goalies were in cahoots, so he would play no matter what, which is wild because I don't know how you really do that. The first period wasn't that high scoring to my memory, but. To just general, goalie just didn't want to play, stuff like that, even though he's been better than Bennington this year. It was really funny. It's probably the funniest moment of the NHL so far that we've seen. So thank you to the Blues backup for doing that because it gave me a good laugh.
Yeah, we'll have to drop that link there in the description.
100%.
I can't wait to look at that after this.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny.
Definitely. But I know where I was going with that. Like these videos, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. I mean, hey, I'm sure some of your friends like sports, right? They gotta like these two guys. I would say 3, but Nick isn't in the room with us at the moment.
He's in. Is he getting him in Memphis?
He's got his blue suede shoes on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for I think 2 months. I think.
Wow. So
At
he's
least
gonna be hanging out on a pyramid for 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. He might. I don't know if he's gonna come home for the Super Bowl or not. So maybe we can get him for an episode or 2 in there. But yeah, that's at least for now. Otherwise, we will have to try to put him on the big screen and go from there. But
Sweet.
at least for now, that's a wrap. Take care. Thank